everyone! So for today's video, I'm just going to be doing a quick little TBR for the Reading Rush, which is a readathon, formerly known as Booktubeathon. I am so excited for this because I participated in Booktubeathon last year for the very first time, and I read all 7 books and completed all 7 challenges. It's probably the most successful readathon I've ever done, so I'm hoping to replicate it again this year. Fingers crossed. So the first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover. For this, I'm going to read Maybe This Time by Casey West. This is her latest release. I have read every single one of her books, so I am super excited to finally read this one. And while it doesn't have a whole lot of purple on the cover, like her flowers are purple, it does have a purple spine, so I think this counts. Challenge 2 is to read a book in the same spot the entire time, which luckily they did specify that it doesn't mean you have to read it in one sitting. It just means every time that you read that book you have to be in the same spot, which usually I read in my bed, but sometimes like I'll read outside or I'll read somewhere else. So I'm not gonna like designate a specific book for this, but I'll probably pick a short book that I can just like read every night before bed, and that will be that book. Challenge 3 is to read a book you meant to read last year, and this could pretty much be any book on my TBR at this point. So once again, I'm not going to designate a specific book for this. This is going to be like my choose what I feel like reading in the moment pick. So whatever I feel like reading off of my TBR that I was going to read last year, I'm just going to read it for that challenge. Challenge 4 is to read an author's first book, and it took me such a long time to find a book for this challenge because I had either read the first book of every author that I was interested in, or they had like really obscure first books that I like never heard of before and had no interest to me. But then I finally found one, and that is Carrie by Stephen King. So yes, this is his first book. I've been interested in reading Stephen King for a really long time because I am a really big fan of horror in the movies and in literature. So obviously when you think of like horror and literature, I'm pretty sure one of the first people you think of is Stephen King. So I really wanted to start reading his work, but there's such a vast majority of them, I didn't know where to start, so I guess I'm just gonna start at the very beginning. Challenge 5 is to read a book with a non-human main character, and this is another one that it took me so long to try and find a book that I wanted to read for this. I asked you guys on Twitter and I actually got a ton of responses, but I have either not heard of a lot of them, had already read a lot of them, or was just straight up not interested in them. I don't really like reading books from the perspective of animals because they usually make me cry, and that was a lot of the recommendations. But big thank you to everyone who responded to me. I feel like it was like 30 people, so thank you for all the recommendations. But then someone recommended me a book which was on my TBR and I was interested in reading sometime soon, and that is Superman Dawnbreaker by Matt De La Pena. I had no idea that Superman is like technically an alien. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm trusting whoever said that to me on Twitter. I know nothing about Superman, so, but he is from like that planet. I forget what it's called, but yeah, apparently he's an alien, so this can work for this challenge. I'm very happy about that because like I said, I really didn't want to read a book by an animal's perspective. This book was actually sent to me by Penguin Random House, so thank you so much to them for giving me the opportunity to read this book. I think this is either the 4th or 5th book in the DC Icons series. The only other one I read was the Batman one, which I really liked, surprisingly, because I'm not usually into superheroes, so hopefully I feel the same way about this one. Challenge 6 is to read a book that has 5 or more words in the title, and for this I'm going to be reading Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sean McGuire. This is the 2nd book in the Wayward Children's series, I think is what it's called. The first book is Every Heart a Doorway, which I actually haven't read yet, so hopefully I actually enjoy that book and I'll want to read this book. If I don't, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. And then challenge 7 is to read and watch a book to movie adaptation, and again I'll be reading Carrie for this. I think the original adaptation of this is on Netflix, so I'm going to watch that one. I know there's like a remake, which is what this cover is based off of, but I'm not actually really interested in watching the movie or reading this book. Like, the premise isn't super interesting to me, but at this point it's almost like a classic, so I feel like I should give it a shot, and I've wanted to read Stephen King anyway, so we'll see how I like it. But yeah, honestly, it's not a super interesting idea to me. And then there also is a bonus challenge, which is to read 7 books, so that's 4 books right there. I've got 3 more to go. So if I do enjoy the Wayward Children series, then I'm probably just going to continue on with that series because they're all really short books, so hopefully I could get through them pretty fast. And then another book that I would like to read is actually an audiobook of The Secret Garden, read by Karen Gillan. I don't really know how to say her name. I actually can't even remember how it's spelled in my head, but she is from the Avengers movies. She's in Jumanji, and she was Amy Pond in Doctor Who. I'm a really big fan of hers, and she has such a nice voice for audiobooks. Like, I listened to a little snippet of it, and it's just, I'm definitely gonna fall asleep while listening to it, but I'm gonna try my best and get through all of it because I've never read The Secret Garden before. So yeah, those are all of the books on my TBR. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you're participating in the reading rush as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
You hear that, Samson?